Hi guys. So this is really new to me, so bear with me here. I am going to get the chicken out and we're going to make garlic Parmesan compound butter chicken. Hi guys. So I have my chicken. You want to make sure that you dry it because you want it as dry as possible when you go to put the compound butter on. So basically I just have paper towel and I'm going to dry both sides. Right now I have two paper towels. I just have it sitting on some aluminum foil so it doesn't get all yucky. I flipped it and I'm going to dry the other side like that. I want to make sure there's no goodies inside my chicken. Nope. So then, oh, by the way, I did just preheat the oven and to 400 degrees. And that's what we will roast the chicken at. I am just getting out the compound butter. So you can see it's really hard. Harlan, will you hold the phone up for me?
Yep.
Harlan's going to be my helper. So I'm putting the butter on the chicken and I'm just kind of rub it in. You can either get right underneath just the first part of the skin and get that really good butter in there. So it's kind of why you also want your chicken to be dry, because obviously if it's still wet with chicken goop on it, you're not going to be able to get the butter all over it. So be liberal with the butter. So the butter will help it have this really beautiful tan, almost brown color to it when it's done roasting. And it gives it that crisp texture along with really good flavor. I'm going to flip my chicken over. Same thing. Put butter on it. You could make your own compound butter. We do that a lot. I'll usually take a mason jar and get heavy cream and a little bit of salt. Yep.
Yep, and you can put whatever spices or whatever you want in it.
Yep, and then you put a cover on it and you shake it until it becomes butter. Once that happens, you want a cheesecloth to drain it out. And then take what's in there.
Refrigerate it.
Yep, refrigerate it in like a plastic wrap. And then you can use it on whatever. All right. So I do have a pan ready. And I'm going to roast it right in an oven pan. And I'm still going to put lots of butter on it. Okay. This is also to keep it so it doesn't dry out. So this won't take very long to cook, like half hour. So this is a real quick and easy thing to do.
And it's going to be amazing.
And it's going to be amazing. Yeah, it tastes amazing. All right, I'm going to pause for a second so I can dry my hands, and then I'll be right back.
So this button?
Pause.
Okay.
Hi guys, so I got all of my my chicken is buttered. Now I'm just going to put spices, and I like to use a mortar and pestle. I like to use, sometimes I'll use fresh spices, but sometimes they're hard to find. So right now I'm putting in dried onions. Okay. Like about there. I'd say a tablespoon. So the one thing you need to know about dried spices is that they have more punch to them. It's like half a teaspoon. Okay. I'm actually going to grab a measuring spoon. So you can kind of see half a teaspoon. It's there. Tablespoon. like that. So now I'm gonna put fennel. Fennel smells so good. It smells like licorice when it is
the pasta
broken. So just fennel seed, and I got half a teaspoon. Okay. This is basil. A little less than half a teaspoon because basil goes a long way. Okay. Now I just put these in because they're really good for you. I have coriander. Take the lid off. Okay. Half a teaspoon. Turmeric. Really good for you.
One of your favorites.
One of my favorites. Yep. It's really good for inflammation. Okay.
It's a really beautiful color.
So just a little bit more than half, not 3/4, quite. And then finally, Chinese 5-spice. So you're going to want to try this one out yourself to see how much you like. I happen to really like it. It's very fragrant.
Yeah. It is good and
A little less than half a teaspoon. A little goes a long way. All right. So I have Chinese 5-spice, turmeric, basil, minced garlic,
onion.
Coriander, and fennel inside here. So now I'm just gonna break it up. One thing about dried spices is you need to wake them up, either by rubbing them in your hands.
Oh, I can smell it. It smells good.
Yeah, can you guys smell it? It smells really good. Isn't that a beautiful color?
I wish they could smell it. It
Yeah.
smells good.
It does smell really good. It's very aromatic. All right, so we're gonna use this sparingly on the top. We're gonna rub it in, okay? Yeah, flip it over. Now don't forget to get under the bird's armpits. That's with butter and with spice. So you're probably wondering why I made so much and what am I going to do with it? Well, it's going to cook in this olive oil that I have in it, and I'm going to let it just cook with the fragrance of all of those beautiful seasonings. They'll cook in it. It smells wonderful. So one note about a mortar and pestle, do not wash the inside with soap. You want to just rinse it out. Now I'm going to wash the outside because I touched it with chicken paws. But you want the outside to be really free of, or the inside to be free of soap. I'm going to pause it.
Go.
All right, so the last thing I'm going to do is I have rosemary that I'm just crushing in my fingers. It smells fantastic. Okay, and then I'm going to put some olive oil around the bottom. Just regular olive oil. I use Target brand. Use whatever you'd like. Make sure that your olive oil is in a dark container. If not, then it'll go bad. So just a little word to the wise. All right, that's it. It goes in the oven like this. So we're going to go over to the oven. Come have a field trip with me, Harlan. The oven is set at 400. Stick this in just like it is and let her cook. That's it. So, hi guys. So I'm going to chop up a shallot.
Oh, it smells good.
Yeah, they're really fragrant. You want to keep them pretty small. You want to keep it pretty small. And the best way to cut is not like this, but to have your fingers back and let the knife rest on your knuckles. Now the shallot is actually going to go into the risotto. So I don't need a lot.
It smells so good.
So shallots are not as strong as onions. They just have a really good fragrance to them. So now I'm just going to bring it together and just chop it.
If you hear a dog, we have 2 dogs.
Yeah. We have 2 dogs. Sometimes they come in here for to learn how to cook.
Yeah.
But they actually just are under my feet. All right.
And beg for food.
And beg for food. So that's what we're going to use for the risotto, which we're going to start on next. So we're going to go over to the stove. That way. I do have a pot out. And we're going to fill it. So we're going to put our risotto in first. This works better. I got this risotto at Aldi's. You can get it wherever you think you can find, or whatever risotto you like. Okay. So risotto takes a little bit to cook, so make sure you plan that if you want to show them what it looks like inside. We got all kinds of spices in there.
It already smells amazing.
So we're going to do 5 cups of water. So I'm just, there's 2. I can turn on the stove light so it's easier to see. 4. And 1 more. Except I'm going to use milk. Little secret. Makes it creamier. Okay. And we're going to use 1 cup of milk. Where are we? All right. All right. Then we're going to turn this on. Stir it. Pretty much want to leave it alone. It doesn't need a lot.
What are we turning it on to?
It can stay in there for right now until I come to a rolling boil. What does that mean?
It means that it's like just kind of starting.
Yep. And you just kind of mix this in. Once the risotto is cooked and the water, most of the liquid is gone, that's when I'm going to stir in the creme fraiche and really add other things to it. So I'm going to let this cook down. I am going to add in the shallots while it's cooking so they get a little bit soft. Shallots. The other thing I'm adding in is freeze-dried chives. And remember that if they're dry,
It needs to be woken up.
Yep. So I got just a
So you're
few.
gonna like crush it in your fingers?
Yep, so I'm just gonna rub it in my hands. A little bit more in there. And you want to do this to taste. I love chives, so I put a little more in mine. I'm gonna let that cook. As soon as you get that rolling boil, then you're gonna turn it down and let it do its thing.
Should I pause?
You can go ahead and pause.
Go.
All right, so now we're gonna start Brussels sprouts. I do have the oven preheating to 375. I got these Brussels sprouts at Aldi's. And I'm first just going to cut the tips off, and then I'm going to cut them in half. So this way it allows me, if there's any bad leaves or leaves that I think are questionable, I can take those off
Super
at the same
easy.
time. Yeah, like this one. A little wilted. My grandmother used to call these educated cabbages. That's we grew up knowing that they were educated cabbages. And so when people would call them Brussels sprouts, we'd be like, what are you talking about?
We have
We've
a
never
puppy
tried.
joining us now.
So JoJo's in the house.
And we have a lady coming too.
Yep.
It's okay.
I'm just cutting. So Joe likes vegetables.
Yep.
He's a crazy man. And he will just sit
It's
there
okay,
until
Daddy.
you give him a vegetable.
It's okay. It's okay.
So, unless you want to come out here, Nick, it's up to you, but I'm recording. Okay, so from here, I'm just going to cut them in half. If they're really big, I'm going to quarter them. I'm just going to put them on the pan because when I'm all done cutting, then I will put olive oil and salt and pepper. That's all you need because it'll caramelize in the oven. Because there is water in Brussels sprouts, but there's also a little bit of sugars, natural sugars, and they're going to caramelize. Oh, I don't like this one here. There we go. Okay, finish cutting these. I know it's boring watching me cut, isn't it?
Should I pause until
You can
cut
pause,
it?
yep.
Okay.
Alright, so we got these all cut up. Just going to kind of space them out a little bit. And I'm going to take some olive oil. You don't need a lot. If you want to move up the camera a little bit. And I just want to put enough so I can get them covered. I'm going to put on a little pepper, salt. I'm actually going to put in my hand. So I'm not going to use a whole lot of salt because I want that sweetness to come out. Okay, and then I'm going to just make sure that they all have olive oil on it. And your hands get soft. So like I said, the oven is at 375. Well, it will be after it's done preheating. So, in case you're wondering, yes, I do have two ovens. One, the chicken is already in. And then I'm going to put the Brussels sprouts in just a minute.
We have like a dream kitchen.
Yeah, we do have a beautiful kitchen. We are very blessed
Yes, we are.
with our kitchen.
We're very blessed.
Okay, and I kind of want to put the meat side down, if you will, of the Brussels sprout. So this would be the meat side right here, and I want it down. And I'm going to let that cook first, and then I'll flip them all over. Okay. And now I'm going to wash my hands again.
Okay.
So we have it at a really nice boil. And even when I stir it, it's still boiling. From here, I'm going to turn it down. So on my stove, I'm going to turn down to about 2. So it still cooks, but it's not a rolling boil. And from here, we let it do its own thing. We'll come back and stir it every once in a while, but we're going to let it just cook. I'm going to actually set the timer for 5 minutes and let it just cook down.
Okay.
Alright, just going to check the risotto. The liquid's going down quite a bit. Alright. And I'm going to put the Brussels sprouts in the oven. So you can see how beautiful that chicken's looking already. Nice and brown. Set the timer again.
For how long?
20 minutes. So I need to check those Brussels sprouts. And then once it's all ready, I'll show you the finished product. We'll stir in some creme fraiche and we'll go from there. See you in a little bit.
There you go.
I'm just checking the temperature of the chicken. All right, so we got 40 degrees to go.
And stop.
Sprinkling Parmesan on the educated cabbage. Just came out of the oven.
Yep.
So I didn't put any more salt on it because the cheese already is salted. And then we'll just let that sit. The risotto looks fabulous. So it's just starting to set up here. Looks beautiful. This is how it should look. We did sneak a taste. What do you think, Harlan?
It tastes really good.
Really creamy.
Yep.
And then, so the vegetables that we put in there, the chives and the shallots, are cooked in, so they're nice and soft. And then just before we serve it, we'll stir in some creme fraiche. And that looks like this. You can make it at home too. It looks like creme fraiche, which you can get at the store.
Go.
All right, I just put in the creme fraiche, and you're gonna think I'm totally crazy, but I also put in nutmeg. That's gonna really make those flavors in there pop, and they will be delicious. We're gonna let this finish setting up.
It looks great.
I'm gonna take the chicken out a little bit, and we'll slice it up.
There you go.
I just took the chicken out a little bit ago. I'm gonna cut into it. So let's actually go like this. I can get a good handle on the chicken.
Look how good it looks.
Yep. So if you want to come over here, Harlan, it's beautiful. Yep,
It looks delicious.
it's real juicy. Oh, I don't like that. We're gonna go back in for a little bit.
Okay.
So it's a little pink on the inside, so I'm going to put it in for just a little bit longer. You want to make sure, so when you go to test the temperature, test it in different places. Can you open the oven for me, please?
Yep.
It's at temperature, but it's a little pinker than I would normally serve chicken at. So,
Okay.
all right. As soon as that's ready, I will come back.